Cool. Sorry, I was on there. I just forgot to hit ask to join.
Yeah, I don't know why some people automatically like lets them into the chat room, and other people it says ask to join. I don't really know how that works, but like some of my people, it just like they just pop in, and then other people, I get a notification that says this person is outside your agency and is trying to join. And like everybody I see is outside my agency, so I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a Yahoo instead of a Google. I have no idea.
Yeah, but I actually get on with Google. I use my Google account to sign, to get on. But you just use my Yahoo because
No idea.
yeah.
That's the one that was on file. So.
Yeah, well, I don't use that other email. I just use it for like my phone because I have a Google phone.
Right. Right. So did you get up to the 100 milligrams?
I did.
On the net?
I did. I got there a little quicker than I was going to, but I was just doing, a quarter increase at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But on Saturday, we were having some people over for the UFC stuff, some UFC fights, and so I figured I would double it. Like instead of a quarter, I'd do a half, and then and I did pretty good on Saturday, and then so Sunday I just did another half, which took me all the way up. So.
Gotcha.
So Sunday was my first day at 100. So I moved.
So has it gotten to where side effects are settling down again? Because you said you were kind of like finally where things are kind of feeling good on the other med, and then it was like
yeah, no, I'm no, it's still side effecty.
Okay.
Not anything like to write home about or anything, but like
but enough that you had to kind of listen to your body a little bit more.
Yeah, like just a little dizziness and like it makes you kind of sick to your stomach a little bit. But I could probably eat and feel better. But I don't. I intermittent fast, until afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But I
take. Heard about that.
Yeah, so yeah, I used to be a big fat guy, so.
It takes a lot of self-discipline to.
The thing with mental health that I've noticed is I think there's two spots. There's two things, and if you hit those, I think everything else just kind of will fall into place. And one of them is getting your diet where it needs to be.
Right.
And then the second, and that means, gut health. I'm talking about literally where you need to be, not what a dietitian tells you should do, but like where your body needs to be. And then control your narrative. And I think that's 99% of the battle.
I usually add sleep to that one too, but
yeah.
Those three.
Yeah.
When people's sleep cycles are real messed up, that seems to increase a lot of symptoms, at least from what I see.
Yeah, it would be hard not to sleep if you had your narrative under control and your diet under control.
This is probably true.
But yeah, I mean, obviously sleep's super important, but it's kind of the one that's always getting left out. Because you do that while you're sleeping. Sleep's easy. I do that while I'm sleeping. So.
Well, at least that one's easy.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with sleeping. I have since I, like on these meds, they.
You said you've been waking up like almost with that heart racing.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, like, so if I was to say it that way, right? Like, oh, I wake up and my heart's racing. It sounds anxiety, right? It's not. It's not even a little bit. If anything, it's like I just worked out or something. It's very euphoric. It feels good. That's a problem, right? So it wouldn't be a problem if it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you just felt good. But it is a problem at 3:30 in the morning that you just feel really good and you're like, you felt like you've slept good and you've rested and you're ready for the day. And you're like, it's 3:30. Now, granted, I could just get up and go, but I'm once I can get out, I probably would. I'd probably go to the gym or something, but those 24-hour gyms. But right now, it's like, what am I going to do? Like, play a video game or something, Like, I mean, I could read some Harry Potter or something, but.
But speaking of which, I'm listening to the first one.
Oh, such a good one.
You were like, oh, once you start reading them, I don't know, it was one of the sessions, early ones.
Yeah.
So I looked at the library and they said they were all taken and put them on hold, but it came in like a week or two. So
yeah,
I don't know how far into it I am in because I haven't looked, but I'm guessing not that far. He just barely had Hagrid be like, you're a wizard, and now he's doing all the shopping for the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it gets really good right there, and the cool part is as you listen, they go back a lot and they also go forward a lot, and so you get like what the future is going to happen, and then you get what the past. Like once you get into the future, you're like, oh yeah, that's what they were doing there. I forgot.
Right.
That first book is really short. It's probably like a 7-hour book or something.
Yeah, probably. I haven't looked. I just was like, oh, okay, well, it's in, and since you had to put it on hold, I'll go out of order. Like, I had one book I was reading, and then both books that I had put on hold, like, came up as ready at the same time. So I was like, well, I'm going to do these ones first, and they were hold. So I read Divergence, and then now.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm going to finish Divergent, but I read the first one. Because everyone, that kind of got popular around the same time as Hunger Games, as far as, like, being a dystopian world kind of thing. So I was curious about it, but I feel like the descriptions of the violence are a little bit more
violent.
Like Hunger Games, obviously there's a lot of violence, but it's not really like
gory
detailed. And like this one, when they're in the fights and get beat up and stuff, I just feel like it was way more descriptive, and I was like, I don't know how that.
Yeah, I've never seen the Hunger Games movies. I bought them, I own them. I just haven't watched them. The books were so good, that I really didn't want to watch the movies because I knew I'd get upset. But I read those like 3 years ago, so I probably watch it and it would probably make it'd probably be like, oh yeah, that's probably what happened. I don't remember.
That's fair. Yeah, the movies aren't bad. I mean, anytime it's a movie adaptation of a book everyone loves, like, someone's gonna not be happy. There were like some small changes that were things that I was like, well, that just kind of annoys me to change that. And I mean, obviously, you can't have all the same details. I think they did a fairly good job.
Yeah, I think I've seen the first movie. I don't remember if I've seen it all the way through, but I'm pretty sure I've seen parts of it, and it was pretty damn accurate. I had one buddy that said he went to the theater and he got about 3/4 of the way through and he left because it was exactly the same as the book. So what's the point of watching something different? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, they're not happy no matter what side.
Yeah.
If you stray from the book, people get mad.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess the Harry Potter stuff, they're planning on doing a series, and the source material's there. I hope they don't stray too much, especially if they're going to do a 10-year series on 7 books. That they don't have to stray far from the source material.
I have no idea how that'll be because you have to plenty of people that grew up with the original movies, so either they're going to be really curious for this new one, or there's just no way for it to be what the other books were.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a movie fan, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just weird because the movies aren't very good, in my opinion. Like, I watch them.
I've never seen the movies either, so.
Yeah, trust me. You're me, right? So like, I had never seen the movies and I had never read the books, so I read the books and fell in love with it. And then I only read them all once, and then I was like, okay, now I'm going to or watch the movies, and I shouldn't have. What I should have done is read the books a couple, 2 or 3 times, and then watch the movies. Because you'll start getting confused. You'll be like, is that what happened? You know, I know what happened now because I've read the book so many times. But right after the first movie, I was like, so which one was the movie and which one was the book? Like in my brain, like when I was trying to recall it. But
yeah, I never heard much about whether. I mean, obviously, I know all the movies were pretty big as far as how they did the box office, but I never heard much about as far as quality.
Yeah,
like the Twilight movies where everybody just says it's atrocious.
Yeah, so I have read those and watched those, and I'm okay with either one of those. The books are hard because it's first person, and it to me that's kind of like a lazy writing. And so you only get her point of view. A little bit in the second book, you get Jacob, like you're in Jacob's head for a while. They did do a new book that you're in Edward's head the whole time. It's the first book story, but you're not Jacob, but you're Edward the whole time.
Interesting.
And that one's pretty damn good. That's a good book because you're a monster, you know, like because he's a monster. He really is. He's a killer or whatever. He's a vampire.
He got more advanced. She might have gotten better with her writing too, because the first book was. I read part of it, and I was just like, because everybody was into it, and I was having a hard time with the grammatical errors and the cliche descriptions, and I was just like,
yeah,
she might have gotten better as she went along.
Oh yeah, maybe got a proofreader.
Yeah. This is true. Maybe she couldn't afford a proofreader for the books.
You're like, nobody likes Stephanie Meyer, seriously. No, yeah, she's some of those books I liked. I liked the story, but it really is like Anne Rice on estrogen or something. I don't know if you ever read any of the Interview with the Vampires, or she's got about a 20 book series, I think, maybe 15 or something, but Anne Rice. And it's that, it's the Interview with the Vampire is one of them. But anyways, it's like that, but a little bit more lovey.
A little more love child.
I mean, come on, the vampires sparkle in the sun. They don't burn up. So
yeah, that's one of the things I've heard mocked about it.
Yeah, and it is something that you'll get mocked. That it's obviously going to get mocked. Like, oh, they can be out in the sun. They're just really sparkly, and you'll know they're vampires.
It sounds even more absurd when you just actually say it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But it's a good story underneath, and the Volturi and the whole. I like the vampire stuff. I don't know. I'll probably read it again in my life at some point, but I was reading Game of Thrones, and I've been stuck because I wanted to watch the series, but I wanted to read the books first, and it's been like 10 years since his last book, and it's like, oh, Winds of Winter, it's coming, and it's like, well, they finished the series already without even having the books, so I don't understand how that worked, but good deal.
I forgot that it was even a book series. I guess I should have figured most shows and movies are based off books.
Yeah, it's a 7-book series. At least it's supposed to be when it's all said and done. And there's 5 out. It's called something of Fire and Ice, the Tale of Fire and Ice, or the Story of Fire and Ice, or that's the name of the actual series. But the Game of Thrones is the first book in the series. I have watched the first season of Thrones. It's been a while, but I stopped because I was like, well, I don't know when they're going to start mixing stuff up. But... And he is long-winded, like me. Just kidding.
All I know is there's a very hateable character in it. I see clips of the one that nobody likes. Like it's just, I don't know what his name is, but there's some character that's kind of like just a real jerky character. I see clips of it.
Yeah, there's several of those. Like the Lannisters, nobody likes that whole family.
I don't know, it was some blonde guy in the clip that I saw.
Yeah, Jaime Lannister. He's the handsome brother that's like the best sword fighter, and they call him the Kingslayer. And then his brother's a midget. He's like, what do they call him? Tyrion Lannister.
So is reading something I guess if you're in your house a lot, that would be an escape. Have you just always liked reading, or is that just more because you're at home a lot?
I started reading in like 2018. Maybe 2017. I mean, I've read books before that, but I don't think I read my first book until I think I was 27 when I read my first book, like from cover to cover. I won it on a radio show, like a radio program, and it was a baseball book. It was a call-in radio station, and I called in, and I had a competition, and you had to answer either Shaq or Kobe, and it was just a whole bunch of questions, and I got all 10 of them right. You know, it's a national radio broadcast. It was called Sporting News Radio. Sporting News Radio. I've heard it for like 20 years. I don't even know if it's still around. Here in town, it was on the AM station, and they replaced it with ESPN Radio. And but before ESPN Radio, it was Sporting News Radio, and I used to call in all the time. I mean, even in high school, like in the 90s. But anyways, I won that, and then they sent me a book and a mini fridge. And so the book I got, it was just a San Francisco Giants book because they asked me what my favorite baseball team was. And then they sent me that, so I read it, and it was just like the history of the Giants. And then, so that was the first book I read. It was pretty cool. I still have it.
It's a cool way to get a book.
Yeah. Sports knowledge. Worthless knowledge. You know what's funny about that is I used to watch so much sports and pay so much attention to it that I probably could have won any contest in the world. The problem is I stopped watching sports about 7 years ago, and I don't know anything anymore about sports.
What made you stop watching?
There was a lot of politics getting involved in sports, and just the whole. The reason I stopped watching baseball is because they started changing the rules. The reason I stopped football is politics. The reason I stopped watching basketball was politics. And I never really watched hockey very much. Although I did watch a little bit of the playoffs this year. I saw that Las Vegas won.
That's the only sport I ever went to live. Was a hockey game.
That's way cool.
It kept me entertained even though I didn't know what was going on half the time. So, we went and saw the Steelheads. So I lived in Boise.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Good stuff.
So the only one you watch now is the fighting stuff?
Yeah, I do. I watch that. And obviously, like, I don't know if you consider professional wrestling as a sport. It's more of entertainment. You know, it's a soap opera, but and I do that. And I have a little talk show I do 3 days a week on that on YouTube.
Oh, I know you mentioned you did the YouTube stuff. I didn't know what genre.
Yeah, I got followers, yo. I'm like legit.
You're legit. You got followers. No, you're not legit until you get the little plaque thing.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting that anytime soon. I might be able to on TikTok. I grow pretty fast on TikTok, but the YouTube one
No,
is
I
pretty.
think you're legit either way. If you have followers and a regular thing you get released that gets watched, that's probably that's the first tier of legit, and the second tier of legit is when you get sent the plaque thing.
Yeah. Well, you have to get to 1,000 to get monetized, and I passed 1,000 a couple years ago, and
So you do sponsors and stuff?
I don't. I could do a lot. I don't do anything. I don't even, I guess you could say I don't even do the monetization. I can, but I don't. So I do not get paid for my content from YouTube, like the share program. I could. I think I can still. I think it's collecting somewhere because they don't take it. I think they just compile it somewhere. So, but I don't care.
You don't want to go through the process.
Yeah, I'm just not there yet. And I don't know, it's just not worth it to me right this second. But I do have a channel. It's legit. I have not worn another shirt. I mean, I wear my shirts like the one I have on. I bought a whole bunch of them. I had them made because that's my channel. And I have not worn another shirt besides my channel shirts in 3 years. So I basically just wear my wrestling gab shirts. That's what I do. I do it Mondays for 3 hours, Wednesdays for 2 hours, and Fridays for 2 hours. And I'm live the whole time. So like people call in or come over, or not come over, but get on the internet and chat.
Is that kind of a social connection kind of thing, or just you were interested in it and people started watching it? How did you start?
I was going to do it for a while. I should have started it freaking 15 years ago, but everybody says that. I don't know. I grew up watching the crap, and so I like talking about it. It's really hard to find people locally that watch it. And so, I do have friends, and they used to come over and we'd watch it. And then I was like, how many people are out there that don't have friends that like to watch stuff and don't have anybody to talk to? It's a very lonely world. And so I came up with the idea of doing this, And so I did, and it's crazy because, like, how you and I are sitting here talking, and we both know that we're both alone. And when you're doing the show, you're in there, and you're kind of by yourself or whatever. But there's like a group, right? There's this big following or whatever you want to call them, I call them gabbers, but there's just this group. And you're talking to them all at the same time, and they're all interacting with each other. And community, there's a word for it, right? So we got this community, and everybody's just chatting and having a good old time. And first of all, I feel like all of a sudden I'm not by myself. Not that I give a shit about that, but I'm just like, hey, this is fun. We're all hanging out like you would at a table, or at the bar or whatever, whatever people do. And then I would assume they start feeling that same way. They're like they're part of something. And the reason I say that is because these people, I am not kidding. There's like 25 of them that are there no matter what. 3 days a week, 7 hours a week. And and then other people come and go. Like I know that these people are going to leave in the first hour. I know these people aren't even going to come till the second hour. I know these people, nobody cares about the third hour. Like I understand how it goes, and it's fun. Like and I tease them, because they tell me stuff, like one guy ran into a tree. He was riding his bike and hit a tree. So, and that he told me this 2.5 years ago, and so we still tease him about, tree phobias and and this and that, and it's kind of goofy in there, and it's definitely not a safe place. If you come in there, you're going to get teased. It's
Not a safe space, though.
it's definitely a lot of fun in there.
So not a safe space. More if there's something to tease, we'll find it.
Yeah, it's let's and every and it's all in fun,
Right.
and you do get people in there, like we do get some weirdos come in there and and get upset about stuff, here and there, but for the most part it's pretty laid back and chill. And when I say weirdos, I mean like real weird people, and I don't care. I accept everybody, you know like, hey, come on in, make yourself at home, and try to find out, what you like and what you do. And then other, you got the mean ones, and you've got guys that are like just rude, and I don't care. Like, you can't bother me, because I'm only affected by how I am affected, right? Like, I can kind of control what affects me. So I'm good. I'm legit. I've been in therapy for so long. It doesn't phase me. It really doesn't. When I'm not on there, I don't think about it. But I have friends come on sometimes and stuff, and they literally cannot handle it. Like when somebody comes in there and they're, remotely mean or something, and they're like immediately want to fire back at them, and it's like, first, that's what they want from you, right? That's the attention they're trying to grab. No, but like, don't give it to them. Retaliate with kindness. And there's a couple people that have come in there, and they were absolute jackasses when they first came on, and within like a week and a half, they're regulars now. They're just part of the team. They're there. They hang out. They still say dickish things, but it's all legit. Like, it's good. Most of the time they're cool. They ask questions. They get involved, and every once in a while they have a moment, and it's probably like, just a bipolar or something. They don't feel good, and they want to lash out, and that's okay. Go ahead. I usually tell them to aim it at me. Like, hey, if you're going to be a dick, you're more than welcome to do it at me. Try not to do it at anybody else, and let's keep it moving. And my moderators, because I have a few moderators, they know that, like, if anybody comes in and says something bad to me, that they are not allowed to block them or erase their messages or anything.
Right.
Like, it's cool, because then I have something to talk about. But it's so funny anymore. Everybody gets so hurt. And it's, first of all, like, I look at it like this, and this is legit how I really feel. I don't even know what these people look like. You know what I mean? Like, all it is a text. They can see me, but I can't see them. And all I can do is read what I assume they mean out of context, because I have no idea what they're saying, so it's like, I don't know how I could possibly be offended by somebody that I don't know what they look like. Like, who cares?
It must be an interesting dynamic, though, to kind of, so you have that many regulars. So I mean, like, you don't know them like their faces, but like, oh, this person does this, and this person does this.
And I know them just by their like film, right? And it's like, in my head, when I think of film, his name is Film Nation. Like filming, and it's like film. So I know a human being named Film, but I don't think of it that way. It's just weird. Like, in my head, it's like, oh, I know Film. I know what he's into. He's weird, by the way. This kid is funny. All he cares about is women's armpits.
Okay.
And that's all he talks about the whole time. We'll be watching, wrestling or whatever, and he's like, well, who has better armpits? I'm like, what? I was like, who looks at armpits, dude? And I tease him, obviously, hit him, and I'm like, nobody cares, man. Nobody's looking at an armpit. Look at her toes. No, I'm just teasing. But anyways, and then like Pete Cola, he's from Pensacola, and I don't know him, but he private messages me on Instagram, and he sends me pictures of like his family and like his mom. He's like 25, but he lives at home. He was in the military, and his mom's like way into Christmas, and she like over decorates, and so he like walks through the house and he shows me all the decorations. Like it's like a Christmas palace. It's crazy. um and then you get a lot of that, like people privately messaging you. And then we got a couple like Ravi, he's from the United Kingdom and he's a DJ. And so I don't know why I call it the United Kingdom. He's from England and he's a DJ there, and he talks funny because he's from England. And so I tease him nonstop. Every time Ravi gets on, I'm like, chip, chip, cheerio. And he's like, we don't talk like that. You sound like a pompous ass. And I'm like, chip, chip, cheerio. But anyways, and he private messages, and he's got like a Facebook, and he's like, here, check this out. And it's him DJing, and so I know what he looks like. And there's more. There's like Sophie and Anita and well, who's the one from Chicago? Anyways, there's the dude from Chicago, and he's funny as hell. Big black dude, and he's always like posting pictures like on like so on Instagram. When you're following each other, you can see their pictures, right? Because it's their Instagram, and he's always like posing with guns and stuff. He's this big black dude. And it's like kind of a scary dude. Like, what you doing with all your guns? Like, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to have those in Chicago. It's a gun-free zone. he's like, yeah, he's like, yeah, if you don't have a gun in Chicago, you're gonna get shot. But Chris, his name's Chris. He's funny though.
It seems like they kind of feel a need in your life, and you feel a need in a lot of their lives.
Yeah, I definitely try to. I mean, obviously, I don't really need it. I have friends. If I didn't do this, I would have people come over way more often. I would have a little bit more of a social life, because every Monday from 6 to 9, I'm busy. 6 o'clock at night till 9 o'clock at night. Every Wednesday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and every Friday from 6 to 8. And so, and then some Saturdays I'll do shows also. It just depends. And then every once in a while, like on a Sunday, I'll do a show. And so it definitely makes it a little harder to socialize, other than I am socializing. But it's a lot of fun, and I don't know. It's a lot of fun in there for everybody.
Well, it seems like it must be meaningful to a lot of the people for them to show up like those same hours you're saying.
I mean, 3 days. Think about it. Like, I don't know how you are. And like, you're a little bit younger. Do you go on the internet and just chat with people?
People I don't know?
Yeah.
I don't really think I ever, like in the really, really early days of internet, when they had like the AOL.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
When that was first becoming a thing, I feel like there were some little things with that I would do, but like now, I don't feel like I go on anything where I'm talking to people.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's nuts. Like, I don't think I could do what they do. I get on YouTube, I look up stuff, usually kind of try to learn. So I don't watch anything live. I try to learn stuff or watch something, and then I'll I'll comment here and there on like a post, but then I ask myself, why am I commenting? Because 9 times out of 10, there's no point in me to comment. And then, um, my big thing is like, I don't know if I could hang out with somebody 3 days a week, 7 hours a week on the internet in a room with the TV on, like, or something, like where I'm just reading
Okay.
the whole time, or I just don't, I couldn't do it. Like,
Different kind of people, I guess.
yeah.
I can't see myself doing that.
And it's weird to think of, right? Like, how can I do that, but yet I couldn't do it. I couldn't be on that side of it. So I couldn't even be mad if somebody didn't follow me. You know what I mean? Like, well, I don't blame you. I couldn't follow me either, like,
Maybe it's just a house of the thick skin that you can kind of see it from every perspective.
yeah. Well, that's my one trick. I'm a one trick pony, and that is definitely being empathetic. Trying to see everything from everybody else's point of view. Trust me, you want to make some people angry, look at things that way. People will say, hey, this is happening to me and I'm angry. And it's like, well, why did they do that? Nothing will piss somebody off more than that. Because they want you to sympathize with them and justify their actions. And in my brain, I'm going, well, what's that person going through? Who's, the person that cut you off? What happened to them today?
Right.
And see, like, I have some friends, and they'll leave. They'll get up and just furiously mad, like, how dare you think of what they went through? This is what happened to me. And it's like, oh, get over yourself.
Did you do any more going out with Brett?
I did. I went out today a little bit. I actually went to a yard sale today. I don't usually go to yard sales because I have enough garbage, and but it gets me out. And so there was one on the other street, and I went over there, and I guess I got a little anxious, at first, because I was just in the wide open, and that's what my thing is openness. And I just kind of sat there, and I'm like, I wonder how this is going to react with this medication, like, I wonder how things are going to happen. And it was just like, well, I'll just sit here and find out. I'm a block away from my house. All I have to do is get in the car and leave if I had to. It went away pretty quick, like, I felt pretty good rapidly fast. And so I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And we went over to the baseball fields over here. I haven't pushed anything with Brett yet, but I went over to the baseball fields over here, and I didn't have my old feelings. We haven't got into the actual feeling stuff yet. So, like, how I feel when I'm out, how I physically feel, not how I emotionally feel.
Right.
Even though it might be an emotional feel, I always just feel like behind me is wide open when I start to get anxious. I don't know if there's another way to describe that. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but like, so when I start to get panicky, I usually feel like I'm going to fall upwards and outwards, like just fly off into the air. And I'm scared of heights, and so I don't want to be up in the air, so that would make sense. I don't know exactly what that is, but that's how I describe it. And so I noticed today when I was out at the ball field in the middle of the open that I didn't really care that I was out in the open. I actually kind of wanted to get out of the truck and walk around a little bit. I'm still not pushing myself, so I still don't know what's happening there. And I don't know if any amount of drugs is going to do that, where I actually say, hey, let's go further.
Right? It might not necessarily do that, but hopefully the more you have these experiences where you're like, okay, that was less than normal.
Yeah.
That'll help hopefully with building up your positive experiences which increases the chance of maybe eventually taking that lead.
Yeah, like, hey, why am I not pushing? Don't know. I'm good. I feel good.
What do you want to do again the most?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah, there's literally nothing I don't want to do that I used to do. And it's crazy because I know once that I'm through whatever this, like, like I said, I've done so much therapy, and I understand that, like, I can choose what I want in life, and I have so much freedom coming. I understand that. It's nuts, right? Like, I just have so much in the future if I can just figure out this last, belief so it crumbles and it goes away and I'm good. And that's why we're doing the drugs now and stuff. It's like, what is next? What, like, I want to camp, but that's not even like my main goal is I want to go. It's kind of hard to talk about now because of all the crap going on in the world, because everybody wants to screw up my life. No, I'm just teasing. But I want to go to China, and I don't want to learn Chinese. I just want to go to China. And obviously Wuhan is the capital of this side, and that's kind of where I wanted to go. This is like in 2018 is when I was setting up my goals, so it was a minute before the whole, debacle from there. But anyways, I just thought, with my core beliefs as they were, I didn't like to be alone, and I have anxiety. What is more alone than being in the middle of, a billion people, a literal billion people, and none of them speak your language? I couldn't think of anything more alone, at least overwhelmingly feeling alone than that. I guess I could go to Alaska and be in the mountains by myself, but I don't know if that would feel more alone than being around 1,000 people and being able to not talk to anybody. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some people in those billions. There's probably 100 million that could speak English, but I'm not going to find out. Plus, I thought it'd be cool to be tall. Being in the middle of China, just walking around like a giant. I'm just teasing. I don't know how tall people are there. I'd probably be the same height.
I have no idea. So is that kind of you're jumping into the frying pan kind of thing? You thought of the thing that would be the...
Yeah, that's absolutely, like, I would know I was 100% better if I could be cool in China, like if I could just be legit. Because that's, it doesn't matter where you're at. You're always you. You're always in your own head. So like right now, if I was on a beach in Greece, I'm still me in my head.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter what the longitude and latitude is.
So specifically open spaces?
I mean, that's kind of like how this all started, I think. Like, I don't like openness. There's certain places in town that used to get me more, and obviously after I started having anxiety. Before I had anxiety, I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I used to go to these places in Salt Lake, these swap meets, and they were like 35 football fields, big. You just walked forever, been to airports and runways, and I rode my motorcycle on a runway, like it's, yeah, I got in trouble, but it happened. It was right after 9/11 too. It wasn't the wisest thing to do.
Yeah, probably not ideal.
It was at night. I didn't know they could still land planes at night. I just thought the airport was closed, so we went out to the airport and took our bullet bikes out on the runways. And we all got trespassing tickets.
Huh?
Yeah, kind of shitty. That was a long time ago. This is like,
well, yeah, 9/11 was...
yeah, it was like, it was 02.
I was 12.
Yeah.
So it's easy to know how old I was because I was born in 1990. So.
Right. Quick math.
Quick math. I'm glad I have a quick math one. So do you have anything this next week as far as small achievable goals, something you'd like to try to do?
I don't know. What week is this? Okay. I know Brett's going out of town after next week, so he will be here this week. The next week coming up, but then he will be gone for the week after that. He's going to raft the river, the Salmon River or the Snake River. I don't remember which one to do. Probably the Snake. And so, but it's not a big deal. I have my daughter here until not this Monday, but the one after that.
Okay.
And then she's going to Missouri for a couple weeks. Nobody wants to go to Missouri. I don't know.
I don't really know what you do there.
She's going to Springfield. It's like in the bottom, what would that be called? The southwest corner. So below Kansas City, I think. Or is that Missouri? Or is that's Kansas City, right? And St. Louis is on the other side.
I haven't looked at a map and done geography since whatever grade that was in school, so I'm not very good at.
Yeah, because it goes Kansas, Missouri, and so it's Kansas, and Kansas City is in both. So Kansas City is in Missouri and Kansas. So there's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri, and it's the same city. It's just the state runs right through it.
Okay. Does she know people there, or she's just going?
Yeah, she's got a friend there. She's 17 now, so I figure she can pretty much do whatever she wants.
To some extent.
Yeah.
So you won't be going out with him. Is there anything you're hoping to do around the house, or anything you want to focus on as a small achievable goal? Like last time, it was to get to that 100 milligrams on the med.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you could do it like a silly one and just be comfortable being on 100 milligrams, but other than that, I mean, obviously I'll get out next week with Brett. Like my 17-year-old will sleep for, past 10. So, and he comes at 9:00 on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But anyways.
Hopefully you'll be able to continue to do things, even if it's just the tiniest step out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, and like I said, my daughter's here, so I can have her take me places. Get out a little bit.
Maybe you're just wanting to get out, even if it's in the zone of comfort, just getting out so you don't sit in the house the whole time.
Well, of course, yeah. Of course.
You end up getting anything at the yard sale?
I bought something. Oh, a sprinkler. Just the speaker.
Yeah.
Well, I had a tall one, but it tips over all the time, and this one sticks in the ground, and it's an old one, and I figure it might work pretty good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It cost me $0.25. I'll be fine. I think I'll recover from that one.
I would think probably that's recoverable.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you enjoy your week with your daughter, and go ahead and let you go for today.
Yeah. Maybe we can do some stuff next week.
Yeah. I had something possible today, and then I was like, well, now we're partway through the session, so.
Yeah, just make sure you start it early. You just got to shut me up.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for next week.
Hey, shut up. We got shit to do.
Well, I thought it was cool to learn about your YouTube. channel that part of your life. I didn't really know it was that big of a thing.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty fun. There's a few other sites that I've been kind of looking at to see if I wanted to, because I can stream on more than one site at a time, so I got all sorts of equipment and cameras and stuff, and so I was thinking about kind of branching out, because there's a few other ones that are kind of new, like Kick.
Yeah.
We were on Twitter for, or not
Kick.
Twitter, what was it? What was the other one called? Where they game
Twitch.
We were on Twitch for a little while because I got kicked off of YouTube for 3 months for copyright violation. And so for 3 months I had to do it on Twitch, but yeah, a lot of people don't like Twitch, so they went to Kick or whatever it's called, and there's a few other ones. I thought about Facebook, but I have friends on Facebook, so I don't know if I want to be on Facebook. None of my friends know I do this.
Discord is one of the one I hear about right now.
Yeah, Discord would be, that one's a little weird. I think that one's a little more like dark web feel, That's where you go to find bad stuff.
Good to know. I've just heard of it. I've heard about it existing, and I know some of the YouTubers were starting to stream on there too.
Yeah, and
I don't understand what Patreon is. That's the thing I hear about all the time now. I don't know if that's.
It's like a private web page. So like if you go onto Patreon and then they pay you, and then you show them different content.
Okay.
Like hypothetically, if you did it on Patreon, then I could actually show old wrestling videos or something like, and they could watch it because it's private. So nobody would get in there that would be able to copyright it.
Right.
Because it's like a private server.
Yeah, I don't know what these things are. I just hear them mentioned.
Yeah.
Well, I will let you go now.
Woo woo! All right. Well, you have a good weekend. Be safe.
Yeah. Maybe we're finally gonna get out of the thunderstorms. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I haven't looked either.
Every single day to get home. I'm like, right. Why?
Right.
But I guess it's good for fire control and different things. Not the thunderstorm part, the rain. Helpful with different things, but kind of ready for some non-rainy weather, so I can actually go out and do things when I get off work.
Right.
Because I keep getting off work and it's just like pouring rain and thunder and hail, and I'm just like, okay.
It's really nice. Oh wait, I'm getting off work. Here it comes.
That's pretty much how it's been, because they've all been in the evening.
So yeah.
Hopefully we can both get out and enjoy things a little bit this weekend. And
right.
I shall see you next week.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. And over. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.